I would like to fly from Eagle to Circle City. And I know that we already saw like all that scenery, but I believe it was really nice. And why not, right? There might be a little bit of problem with some weather, at least according to the forecast. We might have some really low clouds here. And while flying in the like Gulf airspace, which is below, actually here around, I believe that the Gulf actually is going quite higher in Alaska. Let me see if I can find those. Okay, I believe that only in these areas the Gulf starts at 18,000. Or sorry, was it 14,000 something? Let me see. Actually, I cannot remember now where the Gulf starts. If it's 14,000 or I believe it will be. It will actually be to 18,000, right? No.
I can't read the letters on your stream. Sure.
Yeah. It's if I need to like do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which laterally, I
No,
guess
where does Echo start? No, I want the I don't want the 1200. I want the was it this one? Probably yes. Yeah, because there is a video about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So because here in Alaska we have those areas that are demarked as basically where is it? Let me take World VFR. For example, here, right? If you can see that blue one, and if you can see, for example, here we have this magenta, and it's lighter in the middle and the kind of darker outside. That means that the airspace it actually denotes is inside that circle, on the side of the kind of the light part of this. If you notice, this blue one, the light part is outside of it, right? Because basically this is an airspace in like it looks like inside, but this is the airspace where the generic rule that class Echo starts at 14,500 starts. This is the general area. And all this other area is basically encompassed, right? It's like, how to say it in English? Like this is the border, but this is like the inside side of this border, right? Everything else. And that's where it starts at 1200 feet, that class Echo, right? But the standard, in the document, like in the rules, is that the normal Echo starts at 14,500. But basically all the area in continental US, apart from some very few exceptions, is basically covered or like encompassed, like circled by this blue one. So that's why we normally say that it starts at 1200 feet. And why I was saying that, yeah, because I was speaking about class Golf airspace. So this is class Golf all the way to 14,500 basically. And in class Golf airspace, we have a different weather minima, and one of them is that you don't really need to be separated from clouds. You just need to be clear of those. You cannot fly into the clouds, but you can fly right next to them. And that's what might allow us to go all the way there. If we are flying along the river, and maybe we are able to, stay above. But let me check the elevation actually, because those reports are MSL, and where we have Circle City, I'm completely elsewhere, right? Yes, there I am. What kind of elevation we have here? We have 1,000. It's probably be around between 500 and 1,000 here. Let me take Dawson. Yeah, 1500, like 1500, 1000. So yeah, it might be very low, or it might not be there, you know, at all, depending on how the simulator will kind of show that, or it might be completely to the ground. We'll see. But what I'm planning is to actually take off, fly along the river, because if you check here, and I will also enter that Coal Creek in the middle. No. Yeah. Because the weather up until Coal Creek should be fine, right? Or we will fly, so we will see. If we cannot continue, we can always come back, hopefully. And if not, if we maybe cannot continue all the way there, we can just come back to Coal Creek again. We already know that airport. That's that snowy runway in the middle of nothing. So that should be fine. So this is my plan, right? To try it. We'll see how it looks like in the simulator. If we cannot continue, we'll improvise or come back, basically. I'll check the wind. Any comments to that, or any, you know, kind of complaints? Or are we
No,
good?
it's good to me.
All right. We have northerly winds everywhere. So even on Coal Creek, it would be better. You know, last time we were landing straight. And maybe if it's just 5 knots, then we can even land with the tailwind. That's not a problem, but we can also circle the airport if we wanted to. On the Circle City Airport has runway north to south, so 15 and 33. And if the winds are as predicted, then we would be using runway 33. And for takeoff from Eagle, it's probably crosswind. Let me check. Yeah, direct crosswind. So I would take runway 07 because I'm already standing there, right?
Yeah.
Do we need to brief anything more? All experienced people here?
I think it's fine.
Or do you have any questions? Nope. Well, in that,
good.
that's good to hear. In that case, let's set off, and happy flying to everyone.
Happy flying.
Okay, we have minus 22 or 24 degrees. So I had my engine heater on. Yep. So let's try to start this thing then. Okay, we're gonna put left tank in. Listen, I can hide that one. We will do beacon. We will do mixture full, throttle cracked, and fuel pump. Fuel pressure is rising, and we got the stall warning already. Okay. Primer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5 today. All right. Throttle is cracked a little bit good, so I believe that we can try to start the engine. Clear prop. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Let's try again. All right. hit. Let's do gyro. And we have 3, 4. Yeah. We'll use runway 7. Actually, the OBS will show to runway 7. And we will pick the one that we'll be using, and that's 328. Yeah, let's do 328. Something like that. 3, 2. Oh, I was already there. Good. Okay, trim. It's clear. No, I'm not. I won't be filling in. Okay, all temperature is in the green because we had this preheater on, so the last thing to set is altimeter. And for that one, we will use the value of 2981. So 2981. There we go. 900 feet. Let's verify. 900 feet. Very good. Okay. In that case, I'm ready to taxi. One to 2.8. Let me verify that I have it correctly. 1 to 2.8 is CTAF. Good. I don't really need to call out here because basically at the runway already. I'll just taxi a little bit, stop and do my run up. Okay. Let's first get some oil in the prop. I mean hot oil. And let's check magnetos. Great. 1500, and let's check carb heater. Yes, good. And what about idle? Looks nice. Alright. Believe we are ready to go then. So, fuel pump, landing lights, strobe lights, radio call, trim is set, heading is set correctly. Let's go. Eagle traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie is a Piper Comanche entering runway 07 and taking off. It's gonna be a left turn departure. Eagle. Alright. Let's do flaps. 1. Actually, let's see what it says. It should have some checklists. What does it say about flaps? Set as desired. Okay. Good. So I set it as desired. And here we go. We have a left crosswind, so full deflection. Wind.
Kodiak, VFR, entering runway 07 for takeoff behind the Comanche, Eagle traffic.
Okay, gears going up. Oops. climb any higher.
Foxtrot departing runway 07 for a left crosswind departure, Eagle.
Eagle traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie after departure and turning left, heading north at 2,300 feet. Final call, Eagle.
Eagle traffic, Comanche 6529 Lima is departing runway 7, up the left crosswind departure. Eagle traffic, Kodak 36 Foxtrot, turning left crosswind, runway 07, Eagle.
So fast. Why am I so fast?
Eagle traffic, Kodak 36 Foxtrot, left crosswind, runway 07, 2000, climbing 3000, departing north, final call, Eagle.
Stabilized. Okay, so flaps are up, gear is
Eagle traffic,
up.
Comanche 29 Lima, departing to the north of the field.
Crew pump is off. Peter did, I don't know, I don't need, landing lights off. Great, so now I just want to check. First one was how many minutes away it was. First user fix was actually 8 minutes away. Flying 4 minutes. And we're taking off obviously, so we were a little bit like that way, so we're flying like here instead of there. So yeah, so let's correct a little bit. All right, and we are doing a nice and cozy flight. Today's flight will be around 50 minutes, maybe 55, so we have some time to actually enjoy the scenery. last time I managed to get myself like almost lost, so let's try not to repeat that. I do believe this river will be there, hopefully, because then we have this island, which is that one, so we'll head for it, and that's our first turning point. So I can already pre-select my next heading, because I cannot really see that, and that's gonna be 293. Today it's gonna be very difficult to synchronize our heading indicator, because it's really wobbly. But as long as we have the river, we can fly the IFR, meaning I follow rivers, and we should be quite fine. By the way, guys, since this will be a little bit longer flight, you know, almost an hour, feel free to broach some topic you want to discuss, or just to mention, if you want. Maybe later then.
The exam for my radio license is on the 23rd of April, so in like 5 weeks from now.
And are you already an radio expert?
I guess it's enough to pass.
So, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Do you need to know already some phraseology? Probably that emergency one, like pan and mayday?
Yeah. It's like the not sure how it is in the rest of Europe, but in Germany, if you want to depart or arrive to a field with a control zone, you need the license.
Yeah, that's
So the,
kind of logical.
Its exam is very limited in scope. It's just arriving and departing from a field with a control zone. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
My radio exam was slightly different. There was basically nothing about that one. We needed to know the alphabet, you know, Alpha, Bravo, and so on.
Yeah.
We needed to know the structure of those emergency calls, like pan and mayday. And we also needed to know a lot about the theory of like antennae, and you know, frequencies, and you know, basically physics or radiology, electromagnetism.
Okay.
But all those questions were kind of publicized, so
Yeah.
you could learn just those if you wanted.
Yeah. Same for me. It's like it's the same. I want to know if you can pronounce the alphabet correctly.
Yeah,
If you use the correct phrases.
yeah. And since you're
what
already
the
flying here,
light
then
gun signals mean and stuff. But apart from that,
light guns on the radio exam?
yeah, if it's not just a radio exam. It's just for departing and arriving at a control zone.
Okay.
If you have a radio outage, so use the light gun. So some of the
Okay.
questions are about the light gun signal. It's like does a red flashing light mean when you're in the air
Yeah.
or something like that.
Those kind of questions I had on my normal exam, not the radio exam. But yeah, at some point you need to know that, so why not?
And like there's also a practical part, not just a theoretical part, where the examiner, an examiner would sit like in a room with, I don't know, maybe 4 pupils, and he will simulate tower, and the rest will simulate pilots. They do like a practical portion of departing and arriving.
And do you also run around the class, you know, when you're taking off?
guess it depends a bit on the instructor, but I think not. No.
Is it like cleared for takeoff, and you say cleared for takeoff? You sit, you kind of stand up and start flying.
Yeah, and then you like flap your arms too.
Yes.
you get points deducted if you can't fly.
Well, that's some inspiration for you what to do on an exam, right?
Yeah. Like you get ahead of time, you get like you get the charts, the ground chart and the visual approach chart.
Yeah.
And like with the reporting points and stuff.
Oh yeah, you have a lot of visual charts, like arrival charts also for VFR traffic, right, in Germany?
Yeah, for the control fields, definitely.
Yeah.
You can just enter like a class delta, like in the US, it's just a circle around the field and you're fine. And Germany's like, no, you have to use this and that route to arrive and depart and blah, and yeah, okay.
Officially, we also have those, right, on the controlled field. It's never used. It's like you need to know the points. They will guide you. They will tell you, for example, fly like from Tango to Bravo and so on. But they won't usually use the name of the route, right? But yeah, but that's maybe just close to my airport. I believe if I were to fly to Prague, for example, then it would be completely different. That you would really need to fly those because there's a lot of traffic there.
Yeah.
But in Germany, do they then kind of adhere to that a lot?
Do they what? Sorry?
If they adhere to those routes in real life in Germany?
They do, yes.
Okay.
So like if you during the exam, during the arrival training, the arrival portion of the practical exam, like the examiner will ask you for your position. You really need to take care that the position you report kind of makes sense. Like if you have a reporting point Oscar that is I don't know, south of the control zone, and the control zone is tilted to the northwest, and you report 5 minutes north of Oscar, this would put you in the control zone. Then the examiner would be like, oh, this guy can't read the charts, fail.
Yeah, so situational awareness all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember
report the correct altitude that doesn't put you in a class Charlie above the field and stuff.
I remember from my check ride, I had a route planned, right? It was like put into the paper map, everything was prepared, I was flying along the route. I told the examiner that maybe we won't be able to go all the way there because of the weather, right? Because I found out that, it was partly through the mountains. And yes, indeed, half the flight was gone, and then I'm flying, my course. I'm looking ahead, and there are like clouds everywhere. And I would probably be able to go there, but I just didn't feel like it, brand new pilot, right? So I told them, well, yes, I'm not going there. And he said, all right, then fly, different way and just, rejoin the route. So I suddenly needed to fly unprepared route, right? Something I didn't have a line for in the map. And eventually, rejoin my route. Luckily, I was able to do that, but I sweated a lot.
Yeah.
And he told me afterwards that he would probably fly also in that, he would not deviate, but that he respected, that I wanted to deviate because just didn't feel comfortable with that.
So if you deviated, it would have been fine as well. If you said, no, we're not going to the
because I
destination, I'm going back, it would be fine as well.
Yeah. Well, I had a circle route, so that's kind of landing at the same airfield I departed. But yeah, I did not complete it exactly as planned, but I managed. And he said he respected, that I didn't want to fly there, even though that it would be probably legal. But if something is legal doesn't mean it's smart.
Yeah, it's like it's possible, it's legal, and it's a good idea. Three very different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually it worked out. And I believe that it's also good to show, even on the exam, that you don't fear, changing your plans, and you're actually capable of doing that even under the stress of needing to like complete the mission, right? So overall it was fine. So take care that you always show, good kind of error. How is it called in English?
Aeronautical decision making.
Yes, exactly. Aeronautical decision making skills. ADM. It's always better to show that you are able to do that than to complete it anyway, but be sketchy about it.
Yeah, this is something I'm itching to find out. If it's really if my decision-making game is good enough. I have my doubts sometimes, but that's what training is for, I guess.
Yes, but even after you have been trained, I encountered this get-there-itis myself, several times in the air. So it is a real thing. It may be maybe push 1-2 minutes after I would be better to turn back, for example. But so far I have always turned back if needed. But sometimes it takes you like 1-2 minutes more, because you're flying and you say, okay, well, it doesn't look that bad, it's still good, and it just gets worse and worse, and it's not worth it. But it is a real thing, even if you know that before the flight, you say to yourself that you will turn back if anything. Then once you are in the air, still there is this mental push to fly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a part of that is admitting to yourself that your initial plan was wrong.
Sometimes it's not wrong, but the forecast doesn't always kind of happen. And unless it is a very clear day, and it has been kind of, it looks like that it should be maybe, the forecast is that, there will be clouds maybe at 2000 or something, right, and everything, but then, it doesn't happen, or even experienced and seasoned like meteorologists can make it wrong, because the weather is not really something that you can always predict completely accurately. So it will happen, and if you were to wait always for the perfect conditions, then you wouldn't fly. So there's there's that. So sometimes you just take off already knowing that maybe you won't finish, but you just need to be aware of that. For example, I like it much better if I'm flying against the wind, right, initially, because you are flying against the weather and you know that you can outrun it. If you encounter it, then you will be faster than the weather, if it comes, your way. But if you're flying away from the weather, then it's more risky, because you might end up in a situation you cannot return to your field. You need to maybe land somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, there's one good thing about the area I'm flying. There are huge landmarks.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't miss them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
unless there's fog. There might be fog or visibility problems.
That's true.
And sometimes the weather is kind of good on paper, even METAR and so on, but for example, humidity is too high, and you have the you're flying west, so against the sun, and you cannot see a thing.
Yeah.
Below you, yes, but in front of you, no.
Well, if I'm in range of the of my home airport tower, I can just ask them for bearing
Mhm.
to get there.
Yeah, that's true. That's one advantage of, for example, me flying at the from the international airport, because
Yeah.
you have the tower there and you have the controllers, and the whole republic is covered with the information service. So
Yeah.
you can get help if you ask for it.
Just Munich information. I'm lost. Sorry.
And even if you have an aircraft that cannot legally fly in the weather, if it has those instruments and you at least fly the simulator, it helps a lot, then you have better chances than someone who, never relied only on the instruments.
I don't think our club's microlights have a VR receiver.
I don't mean those, but even like artificial horizon, to stay upright.
Yeah,
Because
definitely has that.
Yeah, because one of the ultralights that we have doesn't even have artificial horizon, right?
Yeah,
so
okay.
even that instrument is missing. It just has like a airspeed indicator. It has a altimeter, and it has a magnetic compass. It doesn't even have the heading indicator. It doesn't have artificial horizon, and it does have the turn indicator. Yes, like turn coordinator. That's there, but that's it. So with
you don't
that,
know where you're turning, but you have a rate of turn.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, even from that you can find out, because even artificial horizon can fail you, right? So you need to be able, as an instrument pilot, to fly without that. Just reference your turn coordinator and PSI maybe, and so on. So you should be able to do that, but yeah, it's much more difficult. But anyway, if your airplane has that, then at least you stand some kind of chance, right?
Yeah.
Even though maybe I'm talking myself crazy, because I have been in the weather once in the training. We intentionally, while we were flying VOR approach just for training, we were within the CTR, within the control zone, and we were flying that, and I saw that the way we are flying, the path leads directly to the cloud, right? And I asked my instructor, well, should we go there? Because we are still VFR, so we shouldn't, right? And he just said, for the training, go there, right? And of course he's instrument rated, so that's fine. But it was we were in the cloud like maybe 20 seconds, and it was some experience, I can tell you. It doesn't really compare to these flying under the hood, no way near that. And we entered that cloud in the turn, when we were turning final.
Oh, wow.
So once, and then your body gets accustomed to that. So when I leveled off, my body was screaming at me, "You are turning left, right? You need to correct that." But in fact, we were flying level, because we were turning right before that. So when I corrected, when I leveled off, then my body was saying, "I am turning left now," and it was very strong feeling. But it was a good experience, because to be able to ignore that, you really need to train that, or you need to be very aware of that it will happen. And better if you experience it, under some semi-controlled conditions than never.
Yeah, I remember reading that in the human factors theory book thingy, that when in doubt, you trust the instruments.
Yeah, but it's very hard to really trust only instruments. If you are sitting there, and you have entered something you should not have entered. I recently listened to some podcast, even I believe it was Pilot Debrief kind of guy, and he was actually mentioning that a lot of those crashes caused by pilots flying into the IMC were even happening to guys that were instrument rated, right? and it's just that startle factor that they were just mentally set up for VFR. So even them, the IMC conditions can really rattle them to the point that they can crash the plane. And another factor is that a lot of those instrument pilots are pilots are not
pirates, man.
kind of actual, because as you said, Christian, even at your club, there are a lot of there are instrument-rated pilots, but they do not really fly in the weather, so they don't have experience, and nothing really makes you experienced unless you actually do it, right? But yeah, at least realizing that can still help you more than being completely obliterated to that, or like obliviated to that. Not obliterate, sorry.
I guess fog and low clouds around here tends to accumulate like near the lake. And there's elevated terrain all around it.
Yes.
And all this elevated terrain has at least a few grass fields. I could go to if I somehow end up above the clouds or above the fog.
Yeah. I've experienced, I believe, once in my even local airport that I took off and the forecast was really not great, but it was good enough. But then within like 20 minutes, it started to be really like it just settled, like the fog settled really quickly. I managed to return, but the visibility was already like for special VFR. So, and that is still legal to fly in there, but no sane person would ever do that, right? Because this 1.5 kilometers, I believe that is, visibility, that is really nothing, Considering that our runway has 3.5 kilometers, then that's not even a half of the runway.
Yeah, like it's 1.5 kilometers if you go below 140 knots.
Yeah. Well, those ultralights cannot really fly 140 knots, so maybe in a dive.
Yeah, I think the school plane will go at a glorious. Let's see, maybe no.
The ultralight
Yeah, maybe 80 knots.
Yeah, the ultralight I'm using has a cruise speed of about maybe 200 kilometers per hour or 190, so that's just above 100 knots.
Yeah.
So I fancy myself that if I were to fly into IMC, that I would be actually able to hold level and like straight and level. But who knows? I'm not rushing to find out if I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
Even
I'd rather not find out as well.
Even though those planes have these ballistic systems, so if it comes like bad comes to worse, then I could pull that thing, but no.
Yeah, plenty of open fields to land on my place where I live as well. So yeah.
Instead, what I'll probably sometimes do, if I can find like a good a good time for it, and if the instructor will be willing, to actually do like official IFR flight, with him in the weather.
Yeah.
See, what's, how it looks like. But that's some music of the future, I guess.
Just past Cold Creek.
Oh, I'm not there yet. I'm I'm still like 3 minutes out. What altitude are you flying? I don't see you.
3000.
Oh, I'm at 2. Ah, I see some blinking lights in the front.
Yeah.
It still amazes me, you know, how you can see those navigation lights, you know, from that far away here in the sea. It's so unrealistic. In real, you know, you have problems spotting the aircraft that is like 2 nautical miles away from you. And here you can see those blinking lights, you know, for 10 nautical miles. Easy.
Looking forward to seeing the airship traffic while I'm in the air. It's like
What traffic?
airships.
Airships.
We have them around here as well. Yeah.
Oh.
Zeppelins.
Really?
Wow.
I met like 2 balloons 2 years past, but that's it. Maybe I will meet more balloons this summer, because I was not really flying last summer too much. I had other problems and having to fly.
Because I've been told already that some of the tower controllers are really funny guys.
Yeah.
Like they will say, an airship crossing left to right above like constants, report in sight, and you report in sight, and they will just say, vision test passed.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and like sometimes some pilots apparently really like to over-report, like call sign this and that, 5 minutes east, 7,500 feet VFR from here to there, 2 people on board, blah blah blah, and request transition to the control zone. Then they would reply with, this is Friedrichshafen Tower, we are 2 guys in the tower, I had noodles for lunch, and transition was approved.
Well, while I understand that, the thing is that if those pilots actually follow the rules, right? The laws or like these regulations actually tell you that you should say all those things.
Yeah, it's a bit country dependent, but in some places you were supposed to report this.
Yeah. Well, even there, I believe it's just that, you know, nobody really does it because why? Right, so maybe they sometimes make fun of it, but the thing is, it's actually something I encountered in my own training. You know, I was just following those rules that I should like report it, and some of my instructors, or actually one only, said, "Why do you speak too much, like so much? You know, you just can say, you know, I'm, you know, the call sign, you know, I'm returning to the field." Right? They already see you, he would say to me. They already see you on the radar, so why do you say all those things, right, where you are? I said, well, because I should, right?
Yeah. You don't always know if they have a radar on the station you're talking to, so. Or maybe they want to cross-check positions, make sure they're really talking to the right plane. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it was just one instructor that was kind of, I didn't really like him because he was hell in the air. He would shout at you, you know. He would take controls away from you without saying, you know, that he's taking controls. And it was just really, it was a good experience because, you know, flying under pressure is something that you need to know, but it didn't really teach you much. So if I already didn't know those stuff, I would really not learn anything out of him. But luckily it was like first two, 3 sessions, and then just those control flights, you know, before they let me do my first like solo, and before I made my first solo navigational flight, because he was kind of a boss there. So
good pilot isn't automatically a good teacher.
No. I don't think he was a good pilot either, though.
Oh,
Or
well,
at least
okay.
not as good. I mean, he
Wow.
could. I mean, he could handle aircraft quite well, right? He would like.
Yeah.
He was confident and everything, but. So flying itself, yes, he was good, but not. It was not something that he should have shown, a student, because sometimes he would do things that really I felt to be unsafe. And I will tell you example once I do this stuff here, because I need to navigate as well. I believe that we are quite close now.
Sorry?
I believe we are quite close. We are closing in. And weather still looks that we would be able to fly there.
Yeah. Some very light clouds, but
Anyway, it was even on the it was on the check ride even, but even also before. But that's one thing that I really, it was when he was checking if I could like do an emergency landing, right? So they pull the power and find the field and hit it. I mean, like not land, but make sure that you could land it correctly. And I had problems that I was notoriously ending up too high, right? Because I was afraid of being too low, and in consequence I was like too high. And I could always, I cannot make that field, right? Because I'm too high. Even the forward slip would not help, right? And first of all, if I wanted to do forward slip, he would say, "Are you crazy? In this airplane, you cannot do, forward slip with the full landing configuration, right?" Because he still had in mind those POHs from like old Cessna 172s where you could not do that with flaps 40. But those new runs, there was nothing like that in the POH. But still, you could not do that with him because he would fail you, right? So I said, okay, well, I didn't make it. And he said, okay, and why don't you do this, right? If you have a lot of altitude to lose, do S-turns, right? And we were like really close to the field. We were like 200 feet above the ground. And he started, he just took over. He started doing S-turns, with 45 degrees banks, right, to get down. I said,
Oh, wow.
jeez.
And okay, it worked, right? But did he really expect me to do that, This is something that, you just don't do, right? And we were like, yeah, so this kind of stuff, right? So he could do that. He was confident. He could fly the plane. He could feel it. But he was doing this kind of stuff that you should not really show, because then if I didn't know better, I might end up in such a situation, and I would start doing these, shenanigans very close to the ground, 45 degrees banks, just to lose a couple of, feet.
Yeah. And you overbank it and immediately crash because
Yeah.
you're fully configured and directly above the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really really playing Russian roulette, but like with 3 bullets out of 6.
And it's fine, like, if you, it is a maneuver that if you do in the air, at altitude, you do those kind of maneuvers at altitude, right? Because, you train it, so you should be able to do that. But it just isn't, you know what I mean, yeah. This isn't something you should really show brand new pilots.
Is it legal? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Is it a good idea?
Yes, if you are in his position, with his experience, then yes, probably, because it's still better than to crash in the trees, behind the field, right?
Yeah.
But for the training purposes, no.
I'm kind of glad I have a ballistic device on board, to be honest. I'm not really sure I trust myself yet. It's
actually, if you practice it, enough, you will become confident, right? In the same kind of airplane. That in the Cessnas, in the PPL, we never did actual, dead stick landings, right? It was always like on idle, but it could still add power. In the ultralights, though, I actually did like 3 or 4 dead stick landings. They just stopped the engine and land. So there is like no room for correction, right? And one time was quite strong wind. So by the time, I was just judging, the altitude. I was on the downwind, right? And was quite strong wind, and I didn't judge it correctly. And when I turned final, then the ground speed went really down, right? And I just made the field, and we could see that, how he could see I will make it, right? So he didn't like start the engine and climb away. But I didn't make it to the runway. I needed to land on the parallel taxiway. It was a grass field, so it was like kind of merged, but still I needed to land, on that taxiway because I would not make it to the runway. It was that marginal.
Oh, jeez.
It was like the runway was like maybe 50 meters to the left, right? And I would not make it there, so I just really needed to land straight. Yeah, but I did, so that's fine. So after that, he recommended my normal instructor that I did more like emergencies at my home field before I can fly that alone, and I did, and then I nailed every single one. So it was fine. But then sometimes the wind is just too strong, and it's the airspeed, right, that you're maintaining, and the wind will determine your angle of descent, basically, in the no engine scenario.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here.
You should be preparing to kind of arrive, right?
Okay, at the call. What were you saying?
Oh, that we should be preparing to arrive.
Okay.
I believe. Just a few minutes away, maybe 10 for me.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the ground.
I'm not on the ground yet.
Yeah, but see you there.
Oh, see you on the ground. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
Probably around here, believe. Well, actually, no. Are we? What was the time needed? 9 minutes. So, did I get faster? Because even that 2 minutes were like. But if I look at the river is turning, and this island looks like that. Let's see. Yeah, we have this turn. We had that. Where is it? Did we have this? Yeah, we had this big island there somewhere. Yeah, okay. I believe I am there. Okay. And the river should turn like 334. So actually, I'm not there yet. This will be done. This will be it. I believe because I was flying along the river instead of cutting through the main through the land, then I just I'm probably still there somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, well, I'm not there yet, so. Actually, what kind? Yeah. Okay, well, okay, no, I might be there. I am there. Reset. 9.5. I am there. And in that case, I'm probably 10 miles away from the airfield. So we should be using runway 33, and I should actually tune the radio to 122.9er. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, Zapoipa Comanche, 2,500 feet above the Yukon River to the southeast of the field, and we'll be making left circuit for runway 33. Correction, stand by, I'll come back. Circle City. Okay, well, was a lot of nonsense. 33.
Circle City traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot on about a 2-mile from the runway 33, Circle City.
Will I make a left traffic? Yeah, left better. Let's turn around. Okay, let's practice actually the correct procedure there. Okay. So this will be like 334, something like that, along the river. And it's right next to the river. Has a beacon that I can already see there. It's funny. Okay. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, 10 miles south of the field above Yukon, 2,500 feet. We'll be entering left traffic for runway 33, but first we'll overfly the field from east to west. Circle. The elevation of the field is...
Circle traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, short time, runway 33, full stop, Circle City.
Yukon 2,500 will be flying through the beacon. Left traffic for runway 33.
I'm actually 2,000 feet above, so that's right where I want to be. Well, I can be 500 feet lower, but why? Don't need to be. Huh, lost the field. Big one here, so maybe that should be the field someplace there. Yeah, I believe the field will be.
Traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, backtracking runway 33, Circle City.
Let's say that it's there. We'll see. So I will go a little bit lower, so let's just 2,100 or so. We climbed while flying.
Circle City traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, runway 33 vacated, Circle City.
Yeah, I see the runway now. It's visible too much, but alright, I'll take it. And we're gonna be using the runway 33 as I said, so let's just hear that one, so I have some reference. visible. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, overflying the field from east to west at 2100. We'll be entering left downwind for runway 33. Circle. Start the timer, and we want to fly
Circle City
2 miles,
traffic,
so
Comanche 659
almost 1 minute.
Lima. You're overflying the field from east to west at 2,100 feet and a left downwind for runway 33, Circle City.
Okay, that's like a minute, so let's turn and get down a bit. Okay, I want to be at 1,600. Let's try start slowing down. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, entering left downwind, runway 33 at 45. Circle. Okay. Gear goes down. Flaps 1. Fuel pump. And let's go down. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, turning left base, runway 33, circle. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, turning final, runway 33, Circle City. Okay, flaps 2. Flaps 2 should be enough. Gear is down.
Circle City, Comanche 6129 Lima, turning left downwind for runway 33, Circle City.
Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, backtracking runway 33, Circle City. Circle City traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Papa Charlie, runway 33 vacated, Circle City. Okay.
Circle City traffic, Comanche 29 Lima, turning left base 330, Circle City.
And what I will do is take this. All right, so we have arrived. Let me just do a very quick check what we are actually doing. Okay, it looks like a nice entry. Yeah, maybe not 45, but all right. I will take it. I will take it. Was nice. All right. So I hope that you enjoyed the flight and see you next time. Bye bye.